everybody, it's Dr. Joe, and today I'm going to show you a whole body stretching routine. I've had a lot of people request this, so here you go. For this video, I'm just going to show one 30-second stretch for each one. But if you want a full-length one where you can follow along doing stretches on each side, you can click on the link up here. So let's get started. Disclaimer alert, disclaimer alert. So a couple things that you need. You're going to need a chair to keep your balance while you're doing some standing stretches, and while we're doing some sitting stretches, you're going to need that chair. You're also going to need a stretch strap or a towel or a belt to do some of the stretching with that. I've got my timer going. I'm going to start doing the warm-up because you always want to warm up those muscles to keep them nice and warm so they're not cold while you're stretching. So I'm going to start that, and I'm going to tell you a little bit more about what's important to do while you're stretching. So I'm going to start the button. Our 2 minutes are going, so with the warm-up you can just either do marching with your knees. If you're a little more high level and you don't really have an injury, you can do something like jogging in place. You can do a jumping jack kind of motion. You can do kicking your legs back. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of march while I'm talking to you, just kind of loosening up the lower body first, getting it nice and warm. So when you're stretching, you want to make sure you're relaxed. We're going to focus on specific muscles. So you're really just trying to make sure that you're focusing on that muscle. You're not bouncing. You're really relaxed and you're just doing nice deep breathing while you're doing it. So just make sure that you're concentrating on that. You're not going to the point of pain. You're just going to the point of the stretch. So that's about a minute of the lower extremity. So now let's do the arms, the upper extremity. So with this one, you can just do some circles going forward. You can do circles going backwards. You can do big circles. You can do little circles. You can kind of do little bouncing back and forth, doing some hugs and things like that. And you can still move your feet if you want to, just to keep everything nice and warm. But anytime you stretch, you want to hold that stretch for at least 30 seconds. That's really what they found gets to the point where those GTOs, those Golgi tendon organs, finally let go and relax those muscles. So you want to really hold them for at least 30 seconds. You can hold them longer, but you don't really have to. So you can just kind of go front to back. You can do the little jumping jack motion with your arms, but you can tell I'm getting warmed up nice and warm. So we've got about 10 seconds left. So we're going to go from head to toe. So we're going to start off with the neck and just kind of get everything loosened up there. So now we're just going to take that little 10-second break. Actually, it's starting into the exercise stretch. So what we're going to do now is just some stretching of the neck, doing some circles. You don't have to go all the way around. If you don't want to, just make sure you're alternating. So if you want to go just like a side to side like this, you might get some popping. That's okay as long as it's not painful popping. That's pretty normal because you're just kind of loosening everything up. So now we're going to take a little 10-second break, and then we're going to go into stretching our upper traps in just a second. So remember, these are the ones where you want to really relax those muscles. So the upper trap stretch, push one side down, take the other hand, and just gently pull over this way. So just holding that stretch for about 30 seconds. Nice and relaxed. You should feel that stretch right through here. Nice good stretch. It shouldn't be painful. It should be nice and relaxed. Some people like to take nice deep breaths while they're doing it.
3, 2, 1.
And then relax. So now some stuff with the chair. And we're going to do some chin tucks now.
Exercise 1.
Just bringing that chin backwards, not tucking it in, but bringing the whole head back. So if you see here, I put my finger here and pull all the way back. You don't have to hold that for 30 seconds, but we're going to go through all the stretches for 30 seconds. So pull back for about 5 seconds and then relax. I like putting my finger on my chin because it just kind of gives me a target to know how far away I'm going.
1.
And then relax. So the next one going into the shoulders is going to be a posterior capsular stretch. So just kind of opening up the shoulders now, working those. So you're just going to take your arm and bring it all the way across. So just holding this stretch. Some people hold their hand facing them. Some people do a fist like this. Some people just kind of hold on to their elbow. This is another one where you might feel a lot of popping in your shoulder when you first pull it across. If the popping is not painful, that's usually okay. It's when it pops and then it's painful is when you don't want to do it. But again, these stretches should be tension but not pain. So shaking that out. So with a chest stretch, you can do that a couple different ways, but I like to do it where you can do it sitting or standing, but you're just going to clasp your hands back behind you. And what I'm doing is I'm pushing down and out and then pushing my chest forward. Sometimes if you tuck your chin in a little bit too, that kind of gives you a double stretch and kind of stretches everything out a little bit more. But it's really important to do both, not just pushing down, not just your chest out, but pushing down and out and pushing your chest forward really gets those pec muscles, those chest muscles. So I'm feeling that stretch right through there when I do it. So really just then, relaxing, shaking it out a little bit. And now we're gonna go into the triceps underneath. So really getting all those muscles around the shoulder area. And an easy way to do that is just put your arm up and grab that elbow pulling behind you. So with this one, my elbow is going back this way. So again, if this is tight or if you have a tight shoulder and injured shoulder, this might be all you're able to do. You might only be able to go right here, and that's okay. But if you can eventually start pushing it back more, you're gonna feel that stretch right in through there. And so sometimes people who have that triceps tendonitis, that injury, they're gonna feel it right in there. So just kind of then shaking it out. So the next one is just gonna be taking your hands, opening them and closing them nice and wide. Again, kind of to open up the chest a little bit. So putting your hands out and then just pulling them all the way back so you can see how I'm opening up my chest. And this one's more of a movement. So we're just going to do 1 30-second of this, but just kind of going up and back. Little pause at the end just to open up that chest area. So this is still a stretch even though it's a movement, but you're not going fast, you're not bouncing, you're holding and making it a nice smooth kind of motion, open and close. Okay, so now we're going to go to the upper back, a little bit of the lower back. One that I like that kind of stretches out the whole thing is sitting in the chair and just rolling down this way. So if you're really flexible, you can touch the ground. If you're not super flexible, you can just kind of put your hands on your shins and then just hold that stretch for about 30 seconds. So this one's a nice one because you have a nice little curl in your back. Usually if you see some of my stretching stuff with the back, I say don't do the curl. This is one where you want to curl that back all the way down because that's just going to open up each segment. So it's really nice. And then curl back up. So now we're going to kind of go into the upper back, the thoracic area of stretching. So I like doing my hands up on top like this. And so then this time we're going to do a little rotation. So you're taking that elbow and kind of going towards the knee. So this one we're not going to hold it for a long time. Just hold it for about 3 seconds. So we'll go through the 30-second stretch, but we're just going to do these 1 30-second set instead of doing it twice. So just a little pause in between. This kind of just helps stretch that upper back, that thoracic area. So then you come back up, kind of shake it out. The next one is going to be side bending in that same position. So bringing the hands back up and then just kind of bending over to the side. So this one you want to keep your back fairly straight. You're not curling forward. You're really just going to the side. So this one again is more of a continuous smooth stretch versus actually holding it. So if you want to hold it for 3 to 5 seconds on each side, you can, but you don't have to. You can just kind of go side to side if you want to. All right, so I'm going to pause real quick because now I'm going to kind of get on the ground. Okay, so that was a quick cut. Now we're on the ground. You have your strap or your belt, towel, leash, whatever you need, a pillow so you're nice and comfy. And now we're going to go into the hips and the upper leg. So I'm going to start it again. It's going to give us about 5 seconds. And so I'm going to do a groin stretch now. So the butterfly is a really good one for the groin stretch. So just putting your feet together, using your elbows to push your legs down, and then lean forward, but really keeping your back straight. So if you have to start out here, if you're really tight, that's okay, you can do that. But the closer your heels get in towards you, the more of a stretch it is. But if you're really flexible and you cannot come all the way here, put the elbows on your inner thighs and just lean forward for that stretch. So now you're going to take your stretch strap, towel, belt, or something like that, and then put it around your foot and lie all the way down for a hamstring stretch. You can bend this one up, keep the leg straight, and then pull it up. Try not to bend this knee, and if you want to pull your toes down a little bit, that'll help get the calves a little bit as well. So just getting that nice stretch in there. So just holding it and make sure that this is nice and locked out, so then you're not bending that knee and not getting that stretch. So again, it's the same kind of setup. You're going to have that, but this time I'll keep that knee down so it doesn't get in the way, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Bring the leg straight up, keep the knee straight, and now you're going to just pull it across your body. So if you checked out my Super Joe shirt and you like it, you can go to InkPixi.com. They have a whole bunch of cool things that they can personalize for you. They got shirts, sweatshirts, mugs, all that kind of stuff is really cool. So you can be super like me too. Don't be jealous. And so you should be feeling that stretch on the outside there. And then coming down. So now we're going to roll over onto our stomachs. And this time you want to take that loop and put it all the way around your ankle. Pull it up this way, and we're going to stretch our quad muscle. So with the quads, I'm going to pull this around a little bit. So this is what it's going to look like. Make sure you get comfortable and that belt just sits over your shoulder. And then you're just going to pull until you get that heel almost towards your bottom. So just for the sake of, this is a little bit harder position to get into, I'm going to stretch one side twice in a row instead of alternating back and forth. But what you can see is your heel doesn't have to go all the way towards your booty. It might if you're super flexible, but you don't feel like you have to crank it up there. So now we're going to go into the lower legs to get our calf muscles a little bit here. So you can still take the strap and now put it around the ball of your foot. This time, just relax and then pull your toes as far up towards you as you can. And again, you should feel that stretch right through there. So just a nice pull, shouldn't be painful. Some people, if they have ankle issues, they might feel it in their ankle joint before they feel it in the calf. So again, if this one doesn't quite work for you, there's a bunch of different ways to stretch it that you can try it a different way and see if it helps. So now you're going to do the same kind of stretch, except your knee is going to be bent, and this is going to stretch the soleus muscle, which is underneath the calf. So still getting it about on the ball of your foot. Now I'm pulling up, but this time my knee is bent, and that soleus muscle sits right underneath the calf or the gastroc muscles, and it's a nice flat muscle, and it actually looks like a fish, and soleus apparently means fish, maybe in Latin, some other language, and that's why it's called that, is because they originally thought it looked like a fish. Fun fact for you. The next stretch is going to be for your anterior tibialis muscles. This is the front ones here. We're going to stretch them together, and so basically you're just coming on your heels like this with your toes flat down. So you want your toenails to be down on the ground, and then just pull up where your knees come off of the ground a little bit. So this is a pretty easy stretch to do, to stretch those. You don't necessarily have to do the 30 seconds because your arms might get worn out. But again, there's a couple different ways you can do this one. If the arms get too tired with this, for the second 30, I'm going to show you doing it kind of laying out, almost like a cobra type of position for yoga, if that's what you're looking for. So you can do it this way as well. So again, whichever one is more comfortable for you. See how my foot's kind of rolled out though? that's going to get those anterior tibialis muscles. If you turn your foot inwards, that's going to get the posterior tibialis muscles. So if you want to alternate back and forth, you can, but you don't have to. Again, if your arms feel tired, like they're starting to wear out, then you can kind of change the position just a little bit. So I'm going to pause real quick. The last couple ones are really just going to be general stretching, not quite as intense with these, not really focusing on one body part, but getting a whole body stretch, doing some deep breathing. I'm not going to talk as much with this one because I really want you to focus on the breathing and the cooling down portion. So even though we're still breaking it up, this is kind of a cooling down component of it. So I'm going to get on all fours, and we're going to kind of do a cat dog position. So I'm going to start it back again. And I'm just going to move the pillow out a little bit. So this is quadruped or all fours, and you're just going to come up into a cat where you tuck your chin in and arch your back. Just hold it for about 10 seconds, and then you're going to drop it down and bring your chin up. So this is kind of the dog position or the cow position or the camel. They have a whole bunch of different names, but just kind of gently going back and forth. So the next set, I'm going to not talk as much, and I'm going to focus on my breathing a little bit. So the next one is going to be a prayer stretch, and you can kind of go at a little bit of an angle too. So I'm going to do that for this one. So coming down, nice deep breathing. You can stretch over an angle. This will get your lats a little bit. And then come back over and get this side a little bit.
Three, two, one.
So the last stretch, we're just going to do one, and it's going to be laying out straight as you can, pushing your toes and your feet one way and your arms the other way. So it's almost like if you were just getting pulled in opposite directions, just to stretch everything out. And really take some nice deep breaths. And push, push, push as you breathe out. So there you have it. You should be Gumby by now. So that was your whole body stretch routine. Hopefully you feel loosey-goosey like I do. If you'd like to help support my channel, make sure and click up here. And don't forget to subscribe by clicking down here. And remember, be safe, get flexible, have fun, and I hope you feel better soon.